Hi everybody, it's Christina from Card Making Magic. This is a little set of candles from IKEA, quite cheap, very uninspiring. But what you need to do if you want to give these as a gift, you can't just give them like that. You need to turn it into something a little more pretty. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a box for the candles and we're going to dress the candles up so that they look quite pretty. So let's start with the candles. I've measured the depth of the candle and I've cut myself a band of paper that will go around the candle. I glue it in place. Then I've also cut myself two borders. Now you can either use your die cuts or your punches or freehand it if you want, or use anything that you have, but I'm going to put one at the top of the band and wrap it round, and then I'm going to put the other one at the bottom of the band and wrap that round, and of course they will be glued in place. Now once you've glued them in place, you can hold them in place with elastic bands and then set it on one side to dry. Now once it's dry, I've now cut myself a piece of ribbon that I'm going to wrap around the two bands, and again leave that on one side to dry. And then the last thing I've done to decorate the candles is take another piece of ribbon and I've just crossed it over at the bottom. I've poked a hole through both ribbons and I've attached a brad so that we have this pretty little effect, and then I've added it to the candles just to hide the joins that you've made. And you're going to do all four of your candles the same. Now with this one I've only used one of the borders, but I've added a flower in the middle and a pearl in the middle of the flower. And again I've done all four candles the same, and I'm going to make a box to match the candles that are going in it. So these are the ones I'm going to work with. Now to make the box base, I'm going to use a piece of graph paper. It's ready lined, so it's very easy to follow. And to make sure I have the right size for my candles, I'm going to stand my candles on the graph paper in the middle. Now what you need to know is the depth of your candles to the top. So you need to measure them, and this is about 8 centimetres. So I know that I need the depth of my box to be 8 centimetres to accommodate the candles. And I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger than the candles to make sure that the ribbons don't get squashed in place. So what I need to do is draw lines around the candles to make sure that I have the right thing. Now this is only your template, don't forget. So I'm just going to draw black lines around the candles, and I'm going to do the same on all four sides to make sure that I have that box at the size that I want it. Okay, so that now you know is your box base, and you know that your candles will fit in there. So now from each of these edges you need to measure out the depth of your candle, which we established was 8 centimetres. So we're going to work out to 8 centimetres and make a line. So that line there now is the 8 centimetres, and we'll just make a line. And you're going to do that on all four sides so that they're all 8 centimetres deep. Now once you've marked out your graph paper, you're just going to cut it out. and you're going to cut it along all the outside edges. So just to recap, you have your box base where the candles will sit, and these are the sides. So just cut it all out so that you have that template ready now to be used. And then once you've done that, you're now ready to start making the sides. Okay, so there we have the template ready to be used. Now, to make sure that the box sides fold in, you're going to, along each of these outside edges, you're going to take out a small triangle to be able to fold the box in. So you need to cut it on this edge up to that centre mark, and then just take out a small triangle from that centre mark, just going in a little bit to take the triangle out. And I always remove another little bit from the opposite side so that when the box is folded up, it will sit in nice and neatly. And you're going to do that on the other 3 corners as well. So once you have your template made, you're now ready to transfer that to your main card. Now this is Centura Pearl. It's a 14-inch piece of card, but you would manage it with a 12-inch piece, and I'm going to work on the wrong side. So I'm going to put my template down onto the card, and I'm going to transfer all those marks, all those cuts onto the main card. And all I'm going to do is just use a pencil and lightly make the marks so that I know where I'm going to cut the main card. And then once you've done that, you can then go ahead and cut out your main box base. Now once I've cut these out onto my good card, I'm just going to use a mouse mat, a metal ruler and a bone folder, and I'm going to put these score marks in along each side. And all I've done is use paper clips to hold the template in place. Now once they're all scored and folded, once they're all scored I should say, you take your paper clips off, and then all you need to do is just fold the card in towards the centre. So again, use your bone folder and just crease all the marks up so that each of the sides then will fold in. Okay, now what you're going to do now is flip it over to the right side, and you're going to add glue to each of these shaped panels, and I always use a wet glue. It holds the join, it holds the join better, because double-sided tape tends to dry out and your box will fall apart. So once you've got your glue on there, fold that piece in and fold the other piece up to match, and hold that in place with some pegs or some paper clips until it's dry, and do the same on all the other sides. Now once your box base is dry, you know that your candles will all fit into that box nice and neatly, but now it needs a lid. So to get the lid, you need to know what the box base is. And I'm specifically not giving you measurements because it depends on the size of candles that you've used and how you've made your box base. But what you need to do is measure that box base and leave a tiny bit more, plus an inch or 2.5 centimetres on either side to make the overhang to sit the lid on top of the box. So this is the base that matches my box, and I've measured in 2.5 centimetres after the size of the base. I've taken the corners out just the same, and all I'm going to do now is glue these together just as you did for the box base. Once your box lid is dry, you know that that will fit on top of your box, give you a nice gift to give to your friends. But let's decorate the lid as well. So to complete the box, I've added some border around the edges. I've used a spellbinder flower in the middle to cover the joins, and I've added a pearl and just some glitter around the edges, just to add a little bit more bling to the card. Box lid, I have cut a silver panel. I've added the flower and a ribbon, and the bow has got silver thread through the button that's fastened into the middle of the bow. Now to finish it off, I'm going to use some silver tissue paper, and I'm going to pop that into the box. Add the candles, which we know will fit because we've measured the box completely. Fold over the tissue paper, pop the lid on, and there you have a very pretty Christmas gift.